So earlier this year I installed an Irrigreen sprinkler system, and today I'm excited to share with you my complete, honest review of the system, the good and the areas of improvement. Here we go. So like I said, I did install this system earlier this season, just a few months ago. Shout out to Ryan from the Highlander Lawn for the help to get this done. We knocked it out in a couple days, mainly just because we hit a lot of rocks during the installation. As far as the installation for you, your mileage may vary. It just depends on your soil and whether or not you're impeding on an existing system or not. We'll talk more about that later. Installation though, we'll start there. It's super easy. It's a very simple concept. There's nothing really complicated about it. There's no manifolds, there's no valves. Each sprinkler head is essentially its own zone. This sprinkler head is covering this entire area right here that would normally be covered by four or five sprinklers. So it cuts the need for more sprinklers dramatically. And it's just an easier system to maintain. Now, one thing I'll mention with the installation process is that part of the hardware that they're sending out needs a little bit of improvement, and that's one nice thing about doing these reviews and working with companies, especially like Irrigreen. They've been so helpful, and I'll talk more about that later, but they've been so open to feedback, and I've shared a lot of experiences that I've had with the system, and they've been just right on it with any issues that I've had, any questions that I've had. They've been so helpful, and I'll talk more about their support here later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But one thing they send you with the sprinklers, it comes with the actual sprinkler head, but it also comes with a 1-inch flex pipe that connects from the main line to the sprinkler head, and they connect the flex pipe to the barb of the sprinkler head with pinch clamps. Just little pinch clamps like this, and these fail. And I've had all of mine replaced. I replaced them with hose clamps and haven't had any issues. Had a couple of instances of these clamps failing and flooding out the yard. One of them happened while I was gone on vacation, and the next door neighbor had to come and turn off my water. So got through all of that. I replaced all of the pinch clamps on each of my heads with the hose clamps. So if you've decided to buy a system and they're still sending these clamps, chuck them, go with the hose clamps. Invest the few extra dollars these cost for stainless steel hose clamps. They will be much more reliable. They will have a much firmer, more confident grip on that connection. Another example of something I've experienced since putting the system in is the stream of water that comes out of these sprinkler heads is unique. It's different than a traditional pop-up spray head or even rotary spray head. The Irrigreen has multiple holes in the head that create multiple arches of water that have larger droplets that don't necessarily mist the area like traditional sprinkler heads do. They're actually streaming water and almost like painting water on your grass. And it's very intentional, and it's more of like a mini flood, and the sprinkler heads rotate very slowly and really get that water into the soil, which is really nice. It's just different, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. So with that in mind, there's a gap that's created between the top two holes in the nozzle that ends up showing in the yard because there's a strip that just doesn't get water. And I noticed as temperatures started getting warmer, they're starting to dry out. And so obviously I had to reach out to them and let them know, hey, this is something that's going on and something that I'm trying to figure out. Is this intentional? Is this per design? Is something wrong? So they told me that they're actually doing two things to correct this, and I have since obtained both of these solutions, and it's working quite well. Number one, they are prototyping a redesign of the nozzle. It's still a very similar look, but it does close the gap on those streams so that there aren't any strips left behind. Train. So that's a change that they've made on the hardware side. Now The cool part is on the software side, which is where I think the majority of the potential is with this product and what's worth investing in. They have a feature that they've implemented called double coverage, which when enabled allows the sprinkler to make extra rotations at an offset distance to cover and fill in any of those gaps that might be created from the nozzle. Pretty cool, and it's working quite well, and it's actually fixed my issue. Now, a lot of people think that people who get products from companies and do reviews for companies, they have to say nice things and they have to get good support because they're an influencer and because they're doing a review, and the company doesn't want the review to be tarnished because they didn't get good support when they had problems. Well, I snuck behind Irrigreen's back, and let me tell you what I did. They don't know this. So I actually know and have been introduced to people who live in my area who actually have Irrigreen systems and have had similar issues. One thing I asked them to do was to reach out to support, tell them their issues, have an experience with them, but do not tell them that they are talking to me, because I want to use that as a test to see if everyone's getting the same kind of support experience that I'm getting, because really they were treating me and have been treating me very well. Quick responses, very helpful, very insightful. They offer explanations, not just an "I'm sorry, we'll get it fixed" kind of a thing, and you hope that they do, but they never do, and so you keep bugging them. No, it's usually one response on any issue, and they have it figured out. So in both instances of these people that I've been connecting with, I asked them, how has your support experience been? Are they treating you this way? Are they being good to you? And it's been a yes across the board. Great customer support. So if you're worried about support with the system and that's something that's kind of influencing your decision, rest assured you will have good customer service and good support. So to kind of close things up here, I want to end off with a few things that I really like about this product and a few things where I can see room for improvement, because I think that's what everybody really wants to know, and an overall what I recommend. Now we'll start with the things that I like. I love how much control that I have over each individual sprinkler. I have 5 of them in my front yard, and really I could get away with 4. And I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I have this kidney bean shaped garden bed right here in the front corner of my yard, and if this were not here, I wouldn't need a sprinkler head in the corner to cover this area and keep water out of this bed. Now that being said, I have complete control, so I can water to here, to the edge of the bed, follow the contour of the shape of the bed, and stop up here at this angle here, and then this sprinkler right here will pick up the slack and catch it from here, follow the contour on the inside of the shape of the bed, and take it over here. Very nice, completely customizable, and it works very, very well. And if you're wondering, well, how do you know when to stop and start, and how do you know where to end how far to throw the water? Train. Yeah, I just put down a piece of pipe and adjusted the sprinkler to throw to the pipe, and then the next sprinkler I adjusted to throw to the pipe from the other end, and that's how you get your zone connection, your overlap. Another thing I love is how minimally invasive the system is. Typically when sprinklers are running, the whole front yard is out of bounds. You don't want to go in or you're going to get wet. But when the Irrigreen sprinklers are running, only one is going at a time, but it's covering pretty much the same amount of space. But if I need to cut through the yard, or if I need to get around something or get through here when the sprinkler's watering, I don't have to worry about getting wet. I can just walk by on the other side and it's no problem. I love that. So the thing that I love the most that Irrigreen really has going for them is keeping the water in the lawn. There's no real worry about overspray, and if there is any overspray, it's extremely minimal. So you're getting your complete money's worth out of the water that you're paying for that goes on your lawn, and it's not going on the sidewalks, it's not going in the driveway, it's not going in the garden beds, it's in the lawn. That's where I want it. That's where it needs to be. And that's just a great overall conservation practice. We don't want to waste water, especially here out west. We're doing our best to conserve, use as little as possible. I don't want to waste it, and it's not being wasted because it's staying in the grass. Now for areas of improvement. And I've already talked about the hardware side of things with the pinch clamps and the nozzles. The majority of room for improvement comes in the app, in the software itself. There's so much potential. There's really unlimited potential with the app and what it can do and the data that it can actually give you based on usage, based on location. There's limitless possibilities, and I'm so excited to see how it evolves and how they come out with new features and implement new features and make it easier to use and just give you more functionality. It's going to be really exciting to see, and I'm excited to be a part of it and to share it with you as it happens. But it's still in its early stages, and I get it. I used to work in software. I understand, but it's also very exciting. Like I said, they have a great support team. They're implementing new features all the time, and there's lots of room for growth. So with that in mind, let me share just a couple of things that I'm looking forward to seeing. So I'll start with the biggest thing that I want to see, and that's notifications. I want to be notified when my schedule starts or when my schedule stops. Another notification that would be helpful to have is if there's any errors. Sometimes errors happen. It's technology. Errors are going to happen. Maybe there's water pressure error. Maybe there's a problem with the valve. Maybe a sensor isn't working. It's going to show me an error in the app, and in fact it already does. It will show me errors when I open up the app, but it won't show me errors as they happen in the form of a notification, and that's something that I think would be very helpful. Next thing I want to see in the app is more functionality. I want to be able to open the app and be able to just skip to the next zone in line in the schedule. I want to be able to skip a watering completely, just manually, just because I want to, or because I know that there's a lot of rain coming. I would like to be able to set a threshold on the local weather that if it rains more than 1/10 of an inch, skip the next watering. Whatever threshold I want. You know, I want to have more control over that. I'd also like to be able to open the app during an active watering schedule and see where we're at in the process. If we're on zone 2 and it's 2 minutes into a 10-minute run, I want to be able to see that. More data, more information is important. Now, with all of that being said, is this something I would recommend? Here's my response. It's a little different than what you might think. I think the system is a great option for brand new homes. If you have a new construction home, you don't have a sprinkler system installed yet, you want to put one in, this is the way to do it. This is the way to go. It's so easy. There's no valve boxes, there's no manifolds, there's no complicated sprinkler supply lines running off the main line, and you have all this mess everywhere. You have a minimal amount of sprinkler heads off of a single supply line, and it's ready to go. Easy as that. I think that's perfect. The next scenario to consider is a homeowner that has a sprinkler system already. If you're in my camp, to those of you, I would say, do you like your existing sprinkler system? There's two categories I think that might work in a scenario like this. So the first situation would be if you bought a house with an existing sprinkler system and you just hate it. It's garbage, it doesn't work properly. You have two sprinkler heads right next to each other because that's just the way it is. It was installed by Amateur Hours Irrigation Supply LLC, and it just doesn't work for you. Perfect example of someone who would want to retrofit an Irrigreen system. So it'd be a very similar situation to what I did here in my yard. Tapped into the main supply line, added 5 sprinkler heads to cover the same area that 12 normally cover, and I'm good to go. Now let's say that you bought a house and inherited a sprinkler system and it works great and you like it, and you're not really sure you want to invest in another sprinkler system that's going to also water your lawn. Probably not for you, but maybe something to keep in mind down the road. Maybe it will be something you'll want if you decide to move again. Maybe you're having a lot of issues with your existing sprinkler system. Maybe your valves go bad and you don't want to replace them anymore. You want to go with something different. Then maybe you would consider this too, but it's not something that I would recommend for an existing sprinkler system if you're happy with it. So with all of that being said, I do like the system, even though I've been on the struggle bus here and there, just learning it and learning what it does and how it works and what potential errors can happen, mainly because I want to be able to share it with you. I want you to have the knowledge that when you get into something like this, it's not going to be a perfect system, and because there's technology involved, technology is never perfect, but it's always evolving, and it's evolving very quickly. And I think the team's doing a really good job to rise to the challenge that comes with something like this. And it's a really fun product, and it's really cool, and I'm again excited to see how it continues to evolve as time goes on over the next few years and beyond. And as things happen, I'll continue to share it with you. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. If you're interested in a system, there is a link down in the description below. It is an affiliate link, so if you do decide to buy and you click on that link, you would be supporting me a little bit here, and I appreciate that very much. I'm very thankful to Irrigreen for sending a system out here for me to review for you, and I'll continue to share my story and experiences with the system as time goes on. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do much more than product reviews. I love taking care of my lawn, and I love sharing that part of my life, so please consider subscribing. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.